Good evening. Thank you for joining. We'll wait 2-3 minutes and then we'll start, inshallah.
دكتور عندي سؤال سريع، هو ميد ترم 2 هيكون الساعة كام؟
Uh, definitely in the evening, يعني after your lecture, يا زيدان. But we'll agree on the timing, يعني.
يعني اللي
Definitely.
هو بعد 7 كده؟
يعني ما عنديش مشكلة اللي تتفقوا عليه.
اوكي طيب شكرا دكتور.
يعني هدي كذا proposal من بعد 4 ونتفق عليها يبقى هو التاني.
ماشي شكرا دكتور.
I tell more people to join. Please, if you have any similar any question like Zidane, please raise it.
Doctor, can we have a review session about the classes and pointers before the deadline of the assignment? Because like I repeated the lecture of the classes one more time, I'm still having problems in implementing it.
Yes, that's normal, Mohammed. I am thinking of having a session tomorrow, inshallah, yeah, for the 2 sections, yeah, because I have been asked this, يعني so many times, yeah. So I am thinking of having a view session. يعني it's not a view more than it's not a view. It's more than re-explaining the classes with different examples. Yeah,
Yes, Doctor, please
classes,
نعمل
files, and pointers. Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah.
yes, Doctor, نعمل review session ده.
This is what I'm saying, yeah, Muhammad. I'm saying that I am planning to do this tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Who else have a question? Who else have a question to start? طيب, due to the great demand and because you have to do the projects in classes and files, so we'll do a review session tomorrow for classes and files, and I will give you some more examples and re-explaining the concept, but it will be more into a code that I will write with you and compiling this code and explaining on this code and stuff like this for both files and for both classes. I will tell you the timing tomorrow, inshallah. Yeah. So, anyone has further questions before I start?
Doctor, please, do we have to use all what we have learned in the project?
يعني what does the question يعني أنا مش فاهم يعني.
يعني احنا لازم نستخدم كل حاجة خدناها في السمستر في البروجكت، ولا عادي يعني مش لازم كل حاجة؟
هو الأساسي إنك أنت تستعمل classes وفايلز يعني. بعد كده اعمل اللي أنت عايزه في الدنيا يعني.
ماشي تمام. شكرا.
لأنه أنت غصب عنك محتاج فايلز وغصب عنك محتاج classes. غير كده بقى تعملها باللي اتعلمناه في البروجكت باللي ما اتعلمناهوش في البروجكت بسيرش على الإنترنت. يعني في أحد الناس بس في السكشن التاني يعني عايز تعمل حاجات ما خدناهاش في الكورس، خلاص هو مرتاح لكده، خلاص it's okay يعني. As far as you did it with classes and files, you can implement using pointers, you can implement using you can implement using whatever. Okay, so let me start today. Today is not the same as some people, I believe 7 students or something, they have attended with me yesterday. But today I will explain queues, and then if time allows, I'll explain recursion. And then starting from tomorrow and Wednesday, for the other section, they have completed the syllabus. So, I will start reviewing with them what we have taken into examples and stuff like this here. فبالتالي Wednesday طبيعي you're welcome to join because I will be reviewing. And as I told Abdurrahman, I believe tomorrow I will have a special session for the classes and the files as well. I need بس يعني إن أنا أطمنكم يعني يعني don't lose hope يعني classes and files يعني they are not something that يعني that's very easy and very trivial to learn يعني. Yes, I understand it's different concept, and the move from writing functions to write classes, this is something that is not so trivial and not so easy. And so يعني I feel empathetic with you يعني that you have some difficulty here. And anyone will have the difficulty whatever his يعني his level is يعني even when I was undergraduate يعني I was having يعني definitely problems with starting files with the classes files. I wasn't having problems once I understood the classes files are so easy and of course pointers, they are not very easy to grasp يعني بالعربي كده اطمنوا على نفسكم يعني it's very normal to be confused when you start to use classes and pointers no issue okay. Okay, let me start. Type. I need as usual some volunteers with me, so whoever want to volunteer, then let me know. Okay. يلا more volunteers يا جماعة. خلاص يعني we're finishing the syllabus here. So to try to volunteer. And volunteering is free from my side. يعني it's doesn't matter if you get the answer or you didn't get the answer. At the end of the day, يعني everyone will have a bonus. يعني so don't. So that's normal. Okay. So today we'll have cues. So I will pick a volunteer with me. So I'll pick Adham. So Adham.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So in the previous lecture we spoke about the stack, and the stack. Yani, can you briefly explain what's the stack?
You stack. It's a group of elements. It
Yes.
has.
It's a group of elements, yes.
Yes.
And what characterizes a stack?
It's like the like you mean the push first enter like أنا قصدي اللي هو أول حاجة بتخش يعني like البوب بتشيل آخر حاجة مش أول حاجة.
Exactly. طب تمام. طيب, what you're saying, stack is a group of elements. Are they the same or they are different?
The same.
The same, I mean the stack. Can it happen and size all the elements, float all the elements, etc.?
Yes, I think they are the same. Like they should remain constant. If I understand you right, yeah.
Okay.
يعني
So
كله يبقى int أو كله يبقى
yeah,
float.
you're right. So a stack is ordered group of homogeneous items. What do we mean by homogeneous items? Homogeneous items means that the stack is all integers, all float, all characters. So, and then what are the operation of the stack? The main two operation is push and pop. Pushing an element to a stack, and pop means popping something out of the stack. The stack is characterized as being LIFO, which means last in, first out. Last in, first out. And it has some attributes, like the top of the stack, which means the last element of the stack, and it has an array, whether it's static or dynamic, to store the elements of the stack. Those are the main attributes and the main operations. Those are the main attributes and the main operations. Now it comes for the queue. It comes for the queue. What's the queue? The queue is very similar to the stack. It is an ordered group of homogeneous items. It's an ordered group of homogeneous items. يعني إيه homogeneous items؟ يعني كل اللي موجودين في الستاك of the same data type. Of the same data type. The queue has two ends. The queue has two ends. The head of the queue and the tail of the queue. So basically, what's a queue? If you are in a supermarket waiting for the cashier, so this is the cashier, and there are some people that are queued in front of the cashier. So what characterizes the queue is that first in, first out. So this is the head of the queue. This is the tail of the queue. So I get whoever comes early. So it's very similar when you are waiting, for example, for a doctor. There is a queue of patients, and the first come is the first one to serve. The first come is the first one to serve. So elements are added at one end, elements are removed from the other end. Okay, so I add 1 to the queue, I add then 2 to the queue, 3 to the queue, 4 to the queue, and then if I want to dequeue, adding an element to the queue is called enqueue. Removing an element from the queue is called dequeue. So in queue, I am adding something from the tail. Dequeue, I am an element from the queue. So this is the head. I am dequeuing from the head, and I am enqueuing from the tail. I am dequeuing the head from the tail, and I am enqueuing from the tail, and I am dequeuing from the head. The queue is based, as I said, on the FIFO principles, which means first in, first out. Okay. Okay. So enqueue means I am adding an element to the queue. Dequeue means I am getting an element out of the queue. So I need a volunteer with me. So I'll pick who? I'll pick Maya.
دكتور هو مكتوب فوق ستاك كلاس، هي ستاك ولا؟
Yeah, this is a typo mistake. I'll adjust it. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so enqueue and dequeue. Maya, are you with me?
Yes, doctor.
Yes. So if you want to enqueue an element on the queue. What do you have to make sure of؟ يعني بالعربي كده انت عايزه تدخلي element جوه الكيو، ايه اللي لازم تضمنيه قبل ما تدخلي الاليمنت دوت باللوجيك كده يعني؟
and it's initialized ومش مليان.
ان هي مش مليانه means it's initialized. What do we mean? It's not a question for you, it's an information. What do we mean by initialized? Initialized means that I have created the queue. The queue is very similar to the stack. It's either a static array or a dynamic array. It doesn't matter. So when I am saying that the queue has been initialized, when I am saying that the queue has been initialized means that I have created the queue. I have created the queue. So enqueue means I am adding a new item to the tail of the queue or the rear of the queue. I have to make sure that the queue has been initialized and the queue is not full. The queue has been initialized and the queue is not full. So after enqueuing an element into the queue, so this new element or this new item will go to the rear of the queue. Okay, so thank you, Amar. You get a bonus. Okay,
Thank you.
so if this is a queue, then the queue has a capacity similar to the stack. The queue has a capacity very similar to the stack. Very similar to the stack. Which means that the queue capacity is the array size, and it has a capacity, So the stack, so let me have Ala with me.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so the stack has a capacity as well. Okay, so what I am asking, the stack, we were having a pointer to where in the stack?
The top.
The top, exactly, great. So we were having a pointer to the top. Now the queue will have the same. What do you expect? How many pointers do you think exist in the queue, ya Ala?
I think because, as you said, the idea is first come, first serve. The pointer would point at the first one that comes.
Yes, and where's the another pointer could be?
At the end of the queue.
Great, ممتاز. So one pointer will be at the beginning of the queue to the head of the queue, and another pointer will be at the tail of the queue, and another pointer will be at the tail of the queue, So this is enqueue. Stay with me, Ala. Dequeue.
Yes,
Popping or dequeuing. What happened in general, if you have a stack and you pop an element from it, what does it mean by popping an element from the stack?
Removing.
It's not really removing, it's removing conceptually. However, what do we do? So assuming that this is a stack and we want to dequeue something from the stack. So what do we do? So this is a stack and we have 4 elements into the stack, let's say. And we want to dequeue something from the stack. So what do we do?
I'm sorry, but I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I will explain it now. So I need to dequeue something, or I need to pop something from the stack. It means that I am going to see the top of the stack and I am going to put the element that is at the top of the stack to a variable. This means popping from the stack. يعني بالعربي بشوف التوب of the stack وباخد الاليمنت اللي جواه وبحطه في variable. وبعد كده بعمل ايه يا آلاء؟ Then I am decreasing, I am letting the top point to the next element. فبالتالي the top of the stack will become, I'm just reviewing the stack, will become on the second element. And if I dequeue, if I am popping another element, then it will become to the third element. And then if I am popping, it will become to the fourth element, the top. And then if I popped the fourth element, then the stack is empty. Type. This is a queue. And this is the head of the queue, and this is the tail of the queue. So, Ala, if I am dequeuing and I have 3 elements, let's say. So if I have 3 elements, then the head is here and the tail is here. This is the first element and this is the last element. If I dequeue something,
Yeah.
what do you expect? Where do you expect the head to be?
In the first element. That's
Yeah,
the first
and then I dequeued. So the head will move to what? To where?
to the middle one.
To the middle one. Great, Ala. So when I dequeue, I go to the next element and then I put that element into a variable. Right. Then, if I want, assuming that this queue is not 3 elements, it's 4 elements, then I want to enqueue another element. So the tail or the rear of the stack of the queue is on the last element. What if I want to enqueue something, to enqueue an element? Where do you think the tail of the stack will be, Ala?
On the new element.
On the new element, which is the fourth element. Great. ممتاز جدا. Okay. Okay. So this is a question for all. Away from C++, do you understand how the queue is working, or should I repeat?
No, this is fine.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So let me explain. Just give me less than 1 minute. So this is how the stack works. So I'll pick a new friend. So I'll pick Khalid, Khalid Hamza. So Khalid, you're with me?
يس يا دكتور موجود.
It seems, yeah, it seems that Khalid.
موجود يا
you're
دكتور
okay.
موجود.
Okay, that's great. So assuming that this is the queue. So as we said, yeah, okay, sure. So as we said, the queue has 2 pointers. The queue has 2 pointers. So basically, the 2 pointers are what, يا خالد?
فرونت اند رير يا دكتور.
The
فرونت
I
اند
didn't
رير.
hear you.
فرونت اند رير يا دكتور.
Front and rear, or head and tail. Front and rear, or head and tail. Whatever you name it. So, Khaled,
يس يا دكتور.
at first, the queue has 4 elements. So the front and rear, they are pointing to nothing. This is the front and this is the rear. They don't point to any elements. So Q, this is the name of the object. In Q, this is the name of the function in the class that is called Q. So after Q dot in Q2, what do you think happened to the Q? What do you think happened to the Q?
We pushed the doctor an element into the queue. We entered an element into the queue.
We pushed an element to the queue. That's great. So where is the head of the queue and where is the tail of the queue, or where is the front and the rear?
They are both at the first
The
element.
front and the rear بالعربي كده. Yeah, that's the first element. الكيو هي بدايتها من الفرونت ونهايتها من الرير. خلاص؟ بدايتها من الفرونت ونهايتها من الرير. If I have one element, as Khalid said, then the front and the rear will be at the first element. طيب, let me include another element. So where will be the front and where will be the rear, يا خالد? I will in Q3.
Yeah, the front will be at 2, and the later added element will be the rear, which is 3.
3, great. Then I will in Q5. I will in Q5. So where is the front and where is the rear?
The front is always the first added element, which is 2, and the rear
Yes.
is the last added element, which is 5.
Okay, that's great. So بداية ال Q2 ونهايتها is 5. ونهايتها is 5. Then I am dequeuing an item. From where I dequeue?
From the first doctor.
From the first element. From the first element, which is pointed by the front. Which is pointed by the front. Which is pointed by the front. So if I dequeue the element from the front, so where's the start of the queue and where's the end of the queue?
After we remove 2, we have the start at 3 and the end at 5.
And end at 5. So the queue will start by 3, as you said, and end it by 5. Okay.
Doctor, I have a question, Doctor.
I will dequeue another element. Excuse me?
I have a question. So, Doctor, if
Yes, please ask.
if we said Q DQ item and then said item equal 3.
Yes.
Yes, Doctor. Before removing
No,
2.
no. Just 1 second. 1 second. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, Doctor. If we, Doctor, removed an element, can we remove an element which is not pointed by any of the 2 pointers? Can we, for example,
No.
remove 3?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we are yeah, Khalid, removing an element on the front of the queue. On the front of the queue. On the front of the queue. And we cannot move any item that is not on the front of the queue. زي الstack. We remove the item where the item on the top. The queue, we remove the item on the front of the queue. And we enter the item at the rear of the queue. At the rear of the queue.
So what is the point, Doctor, of putting a variable into this function and then saying that this variable equals to which...
We didn't say variable is equal to. When I say q.dq item, it means that dq هات لي الاليمنت اللي موجود في الفرونت اوف ذا كيو وخليه بيساوي الايتم اللي هو الفاريبل اللي انا حطيت فيه الايتم دوت. فاهمني؟ يعني I don't know if you see or not. This is Q dot, this is Q dot DQ item. This means that
Doctor, I can't see. If you're writing something, I cannot see it.
no, I'm not writing anything. What I am
Okay.
saying that Q dot DQ item means what? Means what is the item that that is pointed by the font? What is the item that is pointed by the font?
3.
3. Then خلي لي الايتم اللي هو ده. We will have C++ right now. خلي لي الايتم اللي هو ده بيساوي 2 أو 3 whatever. Okay. This is what's meant by Q dot DQ item. This is what's meant by Q dot DQ item.
So item equal to is not code. It is the meaning of the
It's
code.
the meaning of what?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Q dot DQ item. So we DQ'd the 3. Then what will the queue look like? It will have how many items, يا Khaled?
Only one node.
Okay. 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 1 second, please. Then Q dot in Q10. So where will be the front of the queue and the end of the queue?
The front will be at 5 and the rear will be at 10.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Then if I want to DQ 20, so I will DQ 20. Now I am at location 2 in the array, and the front is at location 2 of the array, and the rear it is at location 3 of the array. I want to explain something. Now I want to enqueue an additional element. I have no location, which is number 4. So I will place the new element, which is 20. I will place it at location number 0. يعني أنا الكيو فيها الأري بتاعتي فيها 4 أماكن 0 1 و 2 و 3. طيب الكيو بتاعتي هي اللي بيشاور عليها فرونت واللي بيشاور عليها رير. طيب أنا عايز أزود element. يبقى هزود الإيليمنت في لوكيشن 0. أول لوكيشن فاضي بعد 3 هو لوكيشن 0. طيب هزود another element بعد ال 20. يعني I added 20. يبقى الرير بقى عند ال 20 والفرونت عند ال 5. الكيو دي بقى فيها 5 10 20. بقى فيها 5 و 10 و 20. طيب what if I want to add another element like 30? Then I will put the 30 here and the rear will point at the 30. خلاص? Can I add يا خالد another element after the 30 ولا I cannot?
You cannot, doctor.
You cannot. I cannot, because the queue will be what? The queue will be full. The queue
Exactly.
will be full. Okay.
لا
So
دكتور مش فاهم. مش احنا
هي الحتة دي غريبة.
ما نقدرش ندخل بعدها 30 تاني.
طيب اشرحها تاني، انا عارف ان هي confusing شويه.
لا انا عندي سؤال بس في الحتة دي. هو الرير مش احنا ما حضرتك بتعمل ان كيو لاوبجكت كمان، الرير بتبعد عن الفرونت بخطوة؟
ايوه، ما هي بعدت عن الفرونت بخطوه.
اصل حضرتك قايل ان في الاكزامبل اللي تحت ده اما تحط 30 ال 30 دي هتسيفد في اللوكيشن 1 والرير هتنزل لتحت.
ملهاش علاقه، الكيو بتبتدي من الفرونت وبتنتهي في الرير. طيب لو انا حطيت 30 هنا، هو مين اللي كان بيتكلم؟ معلش، منير؟
انا منير.
اوكي منير. طيب الرير هنا يا منير الفرونت على كام؟
الفرونت على 5.
على 5. وبعد كده بعد ال 5 في ايه؟
يعني لو عملت دي كيو هيبقى
لا
على
لا
3
ان
بقى.
كيو ان كيو.
إن...
انا دلوقتي رير على الفرونت على 5 ورير على 30. طيب الكيو كده فيها كام element يا منير؟
كده 2 5 و30.
لا يا حبيبي، ابتدي من الفرونت وانتهي بالرير. الفرونت 5 وبعد ال5 في 10 وبعد ال10 في 20 وبعد ال20 في 30.
هو
خلاص؟
بيرجع تاني من الاول. تمام
يس.
فهمت.
يعني كأنها it's a circle، كأنها it's a circle.
فهمت.
كأنها ايه؟ it's a circle.
تمام، يعني الرير مجرد ما يوصل لاخر لوكيشن تحت هيبدأ تاني بقى من فوق من الاول
من
تاني.
الأول.
تمام، شكرا.
Okay, 1 second.
قول آخر حتة تاني معلش.
Okay, I'll say it. Just 1 second. طيب أعيد تاني. The queue is circular. What does it mean by circular? معناها إنه I have 4 elements in the queue. If I reached at the end of the array, I start from the beginning. If I reach at the end of the array, I start from the beginning. I start from the beginning. Okay. So now I include 2, the front and the rear at 2. I include 3, the front is at 2 and the rear is at 3. I include 5, the front is at 2 and the rear is at 5. I dequeue 2, then the front will be at position number 1 and the rear will be at position number 2. Then the queue will be having 3 and 5. I will dequeue 3. Then the front and the rear will be at 5. Then my queue has 5 only. I will enqueue 10. Then the front and the rear, the front will be at 5, and the 10 will be at position 3. Then I will in Q20. Now I am at position 3. I cannot go to position number 4. ما عنديش حاجة في الاري اسمها position number 4. تمام؟ Then I will go to position 0, and then the array will be at position number 0, and I will put the 20 instead of the 2. Then my Q will be having 5, 10, and the 20. Now I will add 30. Then the array will be at 30, and the front will still be at 5. So my Q will be having 5, 10, 20, 30. Okay, can I add another element? No, because my Q capacity is 4. Then this Q is circular. يعني بتلف على بعضها. لما توصل لآخر element في الاري بطلع لأول element في الاري. طيب how to assure إنه ال Q is circular؟ لو فاكرين أيام زمان we have a mod function. المود function دي I am advancing the rear في حالة ال NQ rear equal rear plus 1 mod max Q. لو جربتوها هتلاقي إن أنا بعد ال 3 أنا عندي كام element في ال Q؟ 4 elements. Then at element number 4 then I will move to position number 0. Okay, so please watch it and then let me know if you don't understand.
طب دكتور الستاك ما فيهوش الحكايه دي صح؟
الستاك ما فيهوش الحكايه دي. يلا please watch it. Omar is asking, when we see DQ for DQ2, for example, how do we know that? No. Omar, when we see DQ, we don't say DQ2. We see DQ an item, and then we will pick the item at the front of the queue. When you see the code, you will figure out how this is done.
Doctor, are you sharing the code?
Mustafa Zidan is asking, when we test questions involving Q, we draw circular Q? The answer is yes. So the Q is circular Q. Okay. So who was asking something? Who was speaking من سنة بسيطة. Okay. Anyways.
لا كنت بقول لحضرتك لو حضرتك بتشير احنا مش شايفين. حضرتك هتشير الكود.
هشير ايه؟
الكود؟
لا الكود جاي يعني.
تمام.
اوكي. كود جاي. احنا لسه بنشرح يعني فالكود جاي. اوكي. طيب. This is the code. I want, since Zidan was asking and talking and stuff like this, then I will have Zidan with me. So, Zidan, this is the Q class. This is what? The Q class. Zidan, are you with me? Zidan has his mic not working, so I'll pick. Muhammad Al Mahdi, you're with me?
Yes, doctor.
Yes. So this is the Q class. What's this and what's that?
This is a private and this is a public. So private are.
What do we mean by private and public, ya Muhammad?
Private are objects that are inaccessible. So use setters and getters to get their values, while
Yes.
public can be accessed through the main.
While public can be accessed through the main. So how do I access the private members of the class? Through another function that exists in the class. Okay.
Yeah, setters
So,
and getters.
yeah, okay, yes. So this is the Q class, and then I have the front and the rear. I have the capacity of the Q. I have 1D dynamic array of the Q. Those are, and I have something called a count. What is a count? A count is really tells me how many elements currently exist in the queue. How many elements exist in the queue? So if I have this queue, so I have 3 elements that exist in the queue. If I have this queue, I have 3 elements exist in the queue. If I have this queue, I have 1 element in the queue. This is 2 elements, this is 3 elements, وهلم جرى. Okay? I have the constructor of the queue and the destructor of the queue. I have enqueue and dequeue. I have peak, and I will explain what's peak. Peak means tell me what is the element that is pointed by the head of the queue or the front of the queue. يعني البيك بيقول لي element اللي بيشاور عليه الفرونت، الاليمنت اللي بيشاور عليه الفرونت هو قيمته كام؟ What's its value? Is empty. I am checking if the queue is empty. Is full. I am checking if the queue is full or not. So let's see how the queue class is implemented. How the queue class is implemented.
This is the constructor. Q.
This is the constructor. So the constructor is having an element that is the size of the queue. So Muhammad, tell me, what do you think this line is?
This is because we have ARR as a pointer, so in that way you are creating a dynamic array, one-dimensional.
Okay, great, ya Muhammad. You get 1 bonus. So basically, this int star array, this is basically I am creating a 1D dynamic array, of this size. When I am calling this function, the constructor function, so basically I am creating it with a certain size. I am creating it with a certain size. I am creating it with a certain size. Then and now the queue is empty. And now the queue is empty. And now the queue is empty. Then capacity is equal to size. So this means that the size of the queue is equal to 4. The capacity is an attribute that tells me, what is the capacity of the queue. What is the capacity of the queue? Then this is the destructor of the class, and I remind you that the destructor of the class is called automatically. If you recall from pointers, we have new and we have delete. New is allocating a new element in the queue, and delete is
deleting
removing
elements from
the memory allocated by the queue. Again, new means احجز لي مجموعة من الأماكن للكيو دي. delete معناها فضي لي الأماكن اللي أنت حجزتها للكيو. خلاص؟ Then what's DQ? DQ means that I will DQ from whatever exists at the front of the queue. So I will basically say, instead of C out on the screen, I can say item equal array of front. Then I will advance the front. I will advance the front one position, and then I mod by the capacity. Then I will decrease the number of elements in the queue. You will tell me you are talking Chinese. What does it mean? I will return back to my drawing. My drawing says that if I have the front of the queue at 2 and the rear of the queue at 5, then this queue contains 2, 3, 5. Then I want to dequeue an element from the queue. What do? Simply the item, which is the variable, I will put the value of 2 into it. So item will be equal array, this is the name of the array of front, which is equal to 2. Then I will advance the front one position. الفرونت كان هنا هخليه هنا، يبقى بقى الفرونت على 3 والاثنين ما بقتش جزء من الكيو. ليه؟ لأن الكيو هيبقى فيها 3 و5. طيب افرض الفرونت على نمرة 3، يبقى هخلي الفرونت على نمرة 0. And this is what is exactly written here. front plus 1 mod capacity. طيب الكاونت بيقول لي كام element حاليا في الكيو. أنا حاليا كان عندي 3 elements، يبقى الكاونت ب3. count minus minus, this means that الكاونت هيبقى ب2 لأن بقى عندي 3 and 5. So this is basically DQ. Okay. In Q, sorry, I didn't tell you. If the queue is empty, I cannot DQ from it. Is empty بتقول لي لو الكيو فيها elements ولا ما فيهاش elements. خلاص؟ طيب. In Q, I am checking if the queue is full or not. If it is full خلاص I exit the program. Otherwise ايه اللي انا بعمله؟ I increase the rear and I increase the rear and I let the then I increase the rear and I let the item that I want to enqueue I put it into the array. يعني ايه الكلام التشاينيز ده؟ If you look here, I want to enqueue number 10. في item واخد number 10. What do I do? Simply I advance the rear وبحط الايتم اللي اسمه 10 هنا، بحطه في المكان ده اللي 3. يبقى الفرونت والرير كانوا على 5. ايه اللي انا بعمله؟ ان انا بزود الرير هنا وبخلي الاري اوف رير ايكوال 10. تمام؟ What if I want to enqueue another element? The air will be put at position number 0, and this is exactly what's written here, and this is exactly what's written here. And then I increase the count. I increase the count, which means that I increase the number of elements in the queue. Okay, then I have some functions like the peak of the queue, which tell me what is the front, what is the front of the queue, what is the front of the queue. Then there is a function called the size of the queue, the size of the queue. And what does it return? It returns how many elements inside the queue. How many elements inside the queue. Okay. So whenever I enqueue something, there is a variable called count. There is a variable called count. So this count, when I enqueue something, I increase it by 1. When I dequeue something, I decrease it by 1. طيب. Muhammad al-Dahabi, are you with me?
Yes, doctor.
What does those function mean?
The first one, the checking if the returns true or false, and the checks if the queue is empty or not. And the
Yes.
second one checks
Yes,
if it's
I
full.
mean, what does this line mean? This line is a bit complex. So
Yeah,
a little bit.
for the first one,
Yes, return size. What is size?
size is the capacity of the queue.
No, what is it?
Sorry?
Size is a function.
Yeah, okay.
So
It is
when I
setter.
say return size, it calls this function. And this function returns count. And it checks if the count equal to 0, then it returns true. If the count equal to anything other than 0, then it will be false. Type. What is the alternative to is empty? To this piece of code. The alternative is the following. A very simplified code than this one. Empty. I check int, let's see, size equal size. So I am calling the function size if yes, Monia. So if size
is equal 0,
0,
you return true.
Return true.
Else return false.
Return
False. And
so
size, the function size is the getter.
This is very equal to return size equal 0, and then is full return size equal capacity, which is the capacity of the queue.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my main. Q is the name of the class. Q, this is the name of the object. I create the queue of 5 elements. I enqueue 1, 2, and 3. Then the queue will be having 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. The front is here, the rear is here. The font is here and the rear is here. And then I have in the queue, I have two other elements that they are not initialized by values. So my queue will be 5 elements. The font will be here, the rear will be here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I will dequeue an element. So I will dequeue whatever exists in this element, which is 1. So the font will be here and the rear will be here. The font will be at 2 and the rear will be at 3. Then I will dequeue 4. So the font will be 2 and the rear will be 4. And my queue will be having 2, 3, and 4. Then I will be dequeue. So my queue will be element 3 and 4. I will dequeue. So that my queue will be one element, which is number 4. And then I will dequeue it also. Then the queue will be empty, and then that's it. And then that's it. So this is basically the main to try the queue. Once again, this is the name of the class. This is the name of the object, and I am creating a queue of 5 elements. So that's it for my side. We finished the queue. We are having another lecture for the recursion, and this was for yesterday for another class. I have a recording for it. Yet on Thursday I will explain recursion again. As I said, I have so many requests to explain classes and files. I will do that tomorrow, inshallah, in a special review session or a special lecture to review with you the classes and the file for you to understand them. And then, as I said at the beginning, I will start reviewing with the other class starting from Wednesday. They will have a review lecture, and of course, it's very recommended that you attend with them. Because I will review whatever I have given you in the course going forward. So thank you very much for coming, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Other than this, have a good evening, and thank you very much, and goodbye, inshallah.
دكتور I have a question.
Thank you, doctor.
Sure.
أنا بس في حتة مش لما احنا بنعمل دي كيو وبراكتس فاضيين، طب ما هو على اي الكيو
هو
الان
على أي أساس بيعرف الفرونت، صح؟
يعني هو كده بيعمل دي كيو من الفرونت بس،
فكده بيعمل دي كيو من الفرونت، ده الإجابة يعني.
وان كيو من الرير،
وان كيو من الرير للايتم اللي انا بحطه،
للايتم اللي انا بحطها بالظبط.
يس.
اوكي، شكرا يا دكتور.
مصطفى زيدان، انا غلطت في الميعاد. يوم الثلاث ده يوم 8 مش يوم 7 يعني. اوكي
دكتور حضرتك صحت الميك اب؟
انا ابتديت بس لسه ما خلصتش يعني.
تمام اوكي.
والدنيا كويسة يعني للناس وكده يعني.
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله.
شكرا يا دكتور.
اوكي ثانك يو فيري ماتش يا جماعة. هاف ا جود ايفنينج.
دكتور معلش عايز اسال سؤال بسرعه.
اتفضل.
هو الريفيو بتاعت بكره الساعه كام؟
هنتفق عليها يعني، ما تقلقش يعني.
طيب تمام.
اوكي.
دكتور I sent you an email.
انا المشكله بس ان انا كنت تعبان شويه امبارح والنهارده، فان شاء الله بكره الصبح هجاوبك باذن الله.
طيب الف سلامه دكتور.
الله يسلمك. مصطفى زيدان، لا I don't have this information. I will contact the course coordinator and let you know. Yeah.